Harden dropped in a cool, casual 61 points against the Spurs. It was his third career game with 60. Only Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Wilt Chamberlain have more 60-point games. However, that wasn't enough for Harden. Check out this video he posted on Instagram, working out after said 60-point game.
And if people didn't see the game, they needed every single last bucket. They were trailing late. He hit 3 consecutive threes to turn, I think, a 4-point deficit into a 5-point lead, and then this afterwards.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. This is why James Harden was never into his body. James Harden was in the streets. James Harden ate anything, drank anything, but to have him now, working out now after the games, man, he has done a complete 180. Jenna, I thought you would love this. Nick sent me the video late on Friday night. This is amazing. You're talking about one of the best basketball players ever actually falling in love more with the game and realizing that weight training, nutrition, that's what's helped him get better besides his ability to shoot a variety of shots and dribble the basketball.
And if you saw his interview after the game but before the workout, he was asked by the NBA TV crew, what keeps you motivated? And he said very straightforward, I have a chance to be one of the greatest players to ever play this game. And if that's not motivation enough, I don't know what it is. And that's not hyperbole anymore. He might win his second MVP in as many years this year. He has been spectacular. I think Friday night was his 6th game of 57 or more. 50 this season.
So impressive, I know.
He's been unbelievable.
Next time you could include me on that group text.
It was a DM really on Twitter, Jenna.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how to get to your...
And that free throw that was a choke job right there. His collar was a little tight, barely could breathe. It's only 15 feet.
That ball missed it coming off his hand.
That ball went like 13 feet. Had no chance of going in, but their ability to be able to survive. That's what a lot of national championships teams have been able to do. They have a game that scares them. They're able to learn from those mistakes, and I think the young Duke players will do that.
The missed free throw notwithstanding, I thought Zion was spectacular, and it was really cool to see him and Taco meet at the rim with the game on the line. But for Duke, UCF showed a bit of a blueprint now. Let them shoot. They are the worst three-point shooting team in the tournament. And even if Zion gets 30, they are beatable. So when they get ready to play Virginia Tech, they're going to have some wrinkles ready for him, or just hope Trey Jones can hit some type of shot.
All right, moving on. The Lakers were officially eliminated from the playoffs on Friday, which makes the over-under on when they will seemingly part ways with Luke Walton the day after the season ends.
It's a good over-under, John.
According to reports, I'll take the under. Is that now how they work?
No problem.
Jason Kidd would be a serious candidate for the job, according to reports. Nick, would this be a good move?
No, they're better off with LeBron as player coach than Jason Kidd as the head coach.
Absolutely. Those are 2 bad ideas, so go ahead.
Okay, fair enough. Jay, listen, I have been as critical of Luke Walton as anybody. I don't know that he's worse than Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's name, along with Mark Jackson and Ty Lue, have been the 3 names connected to the Lakers throughout the season. I think Ty would be an excellent choice. I think Mark Jackson would be a fine choice. Jason Kidd, in my opinion, would be an awful choice. I really cannot recommend the Lakers strongly enough to go a different way.
Yeah, I'm sure the Lakers aren't going to call Nick, but I believe that they did Jason Kidd a favor here by putting him in the loop, getting his name out there in circulation. I don't believe he's going to get an NBA job right now. I believe he's going to go back and coach college basketball. Go back to his alma mater as far as Cal, take that job to resurrect his basketball coaching career.
All right, to the NFL.
From all the word on the street, it seems like they're going to draft him. That's the only reason why all these draft boards would have him going there, with the relationship with Kingsbury. But they got so many needs, I wouldn't draft him. I mean, this is not a team that's a quarterback away from potentially being in the playoffs. No, because even if they draft Kyler, man, I know he measured at 5'10". If he gets hit the way that Josh Rosen was getting hit with that bad offensive line,
5'8",
5'8", 5'6" by November.
I wouldn't draft Kyler, and I wouldn't draft Nicky Bosa or Josh Allen. I would trade the pick. I would try to keep talking.
You wouldn't draft them first. You would potentially draft them later.
Oh, yeah, I've got no problem with drafting if you trade back to 4 or 6, whatever, if you can get one of those players there. My point is I would also trade the pick. Now, what do I think they will do? I think they will draft Kyler, and I think they'll trade Rosen. But I think they need to try to get a bounty for that #1 overall pick, especially since they traded picks away to get Rosen last year. This team's got Patrick Peterson, Chandler Jones, David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, and a bunch of question marks. You are not a star pass rusher or a quarterback away, and Rosen might be better than Kyler, so I would trade the pick.
All right, finally, the Steelers general manager continued to stick up for his quarterback, saying all the talk around Big Ben is, quote, white noise, and we feel comfortable knowing Ben is our quarterback and our leader. See, what do you make of Kevin Colbert's comments?
That's what I expect. That's the way they've done for a long time in Pittsburgh. I mean, when Hines Ward left there was a story about him and Ben Roethlisberger not being on the same page. Coaches have left there. Now we got a couple other wide receivers that have left there. This is not new. That's what I expect him to be able to say. I expect the Pouncey, the center, to say, oh, yeah, this is Ben. He's our leader. Of course, they just gave him a contract extension. This is how you do business. You don't tell people the actual truth of, like, what's going on and everything. He's revealed himself. He said it. He got Ben Roethlisberger and 52 kids. They're getting ready to sign Ben to a contract extension after a couple of years ago. Ben talked about, man, I don't know how long I want to play football. But this is the way that Ben is their leader, all right? They respect him, what he's done on the field, and they, like the New York Football Giants, organization run by families, have done things the right way. How their quarterback is going to be sent off, it's important to them. That's why you see those comments from Colbert, and you shouldn't expect anything else. You shouldn't be shocked, because this is how he feels and the organization feels about Ben Roethlisberger.
Question for you, C. Do you think behind the scenes, privately, between Colbert and Roethlisberger, there is anything Colbert has said or will say to Big Ben about this year, about going about his business, leading the team, if you will, differently, or Colbert isn't in position to say that?
I don't think that they give Ben talking points as far as how he's going to lead the team. Like, that would be a change, man. A general manager, typically when you're a player, he don't know how to lead a team. I mean, I wish a general manager would come down and try to give me some pointers. Well, where'd he get those from? Where'd he get his leadership skills? Where'd he get his qualifications? I ain't going to pick the players, and you ain't going to lead the team. Right. That's part of the reason why I'm here and reason why I'm the captain.
So, listen, this is what the Steelers, everything they've done this offseason, they've been telling a consistent story. Now, it might be a story that I think is a little misguided, but the story has been consistent. Ben Roethlisberger is the only irreplaceable Pittsburgh Steeler. Ben Roethlisberger is the guy that even at an advanced age going into year 15, we are moving forward with from now until further notice. Ben Roethlisberger, they said, is going to get a contract extension, and Colbert also mentioned, might be his last, real contract in the NFL. So we're going to take care of him. Like, this Pittsburgh Steelers have a quarterback who they've won 2 Super Bowls with. They've been to 3. He's been the biggest reason they got to the two most recent of them. The first one was a different type of team. Bettis' final year. And Ben's going to have to do it now this year with the least amount of help that he's had in the Mike Tomlin era. He's going to have to do it without a certified star receiver. Juju's been good, and maybe he will turn into a star, but we don't know yet if Juju is a legitimate #1 receiver, and we don't know if James Conner, what he is over a full 16-game schedule, after last year had to play a full 16-game schedule. But Big Ben seemingly has gotten what he wanted here. I'm not saying he didn't want more talent on his team, but the team has supported him as much as you can support any player publicly within an organization, even though some of Ben's comments to me were not worthy of the support.
Outside of the coaching changes that Ben might not have been happy with or been happy with in the past, Ben has nothing to do with the players not being there, though. All right, so we can't act as if Ben didn't want talented players there. Ben's always wanted talented players. I can understand Ben deserves a certain amount of blame, but it's not, Ben's desire was not to be playing with Le'Veon Bell. It was not Ben's desire that AB wasn't going to be there. Like, Ben is smart enough to know that having talented players around him, so that's just the way that things worked out. L. Bell, they couldn't keep him. AB forced his way out of the organization.
Well, I think his challenge now is twofold. One, yes, he's going to have to do it with less talent, but two, in a division that's going to be far more challenging than it was for the Steelers with at least with Antonio Brown last year.
Oh, 100%. Like, we don't know what the Bengals will be, but the Ravens were a playoff team last year. The Browns were alive for the playoffs with 2 weeks left and should be better. And while I don't give Ben any culpability whatsoever for Le'Veon Bell not being on the team anymore, I feel he could have done a better job with Antonio. Now, maybe there were other things that could have brought Antonio back into the fold, more money. Antonio
I can understand Ben deserves a certain amount of blame, but it's not, Ben's desire was not to be playing with Le'Veon Bell. It was not Ben's desire that AB wasn't going to be there. Like, Ben is smart enough to know that having talented players around him, so that's just the way that things worked out. L. Bell, they couldn't keep him. AB,